You're asking me my thoughts on this whole situation, and I don't like the way Trump is going about it. Why is it that he wants white people from South Africa in this country with open arms, but he doesn't want black people from South Africa in this country? Why is that, Tim?
When did he say that?
Well, look at what he did. 10 South Africans were...
10 people?
I think this was like 3 months ago, welcoming them with open arms with their families, but they all happen to be white. I find that very convenient.
Because there are white people being killed in South Africa.
Yeah, but why is it that he doesn't do the same for people of color? Let's welcome you with open arms.
Because the black people in South Africa are the majority and are the ones chanting "kill the Boer."
The government there is a black nationalist government.
You don't find that okay?
You can say it's racial, but it's clearly also very politically aligned. Like the politics of the South African grievance politics and the communism versus the European descendant South Africans who are more free market and more in favor of property rights. So there's an obvious political overlap here.
And there was a white guy, just an illegal immigrant, was just he was a police officer, and they deported him. So it's like I don't think it lends itself to the argument when it's 10 South Africans or one white guy being deported.
Well, I think it comes down to compassion if we're talking about this situation. And there are people in Trump's administration, and I know this goes into the healthcare situation, but there are people that do not believe if you're an undocumented immigrant and you're dropped off at an ER and you need life-saving care, that you should not get that life-saving care, that we should be asking for your paperwork. That is not the country, Tim, that I want to live in. That is no compassion. I'm not saying undocumented immigrants should be getting free health care. And by the way, they don't qualify for Obama's subsidies anyway. But if somebody is dying and they're undocumented, okay, they should be able to get the care that they need in a hospital. And I'm okay paying for that.
I mean, that argument works if Biden didn't let in, on the low end, 10 million illegal immigrants.
Well, you could use the term let in. I'm not going to sit here and defend Biden when it comes to all the undocumented immigrants that came into this country. Clearly, he didn't do a good job.
There's a math question, right? So, the famous saying, you must secure your own mask before securing the mask of the person sitting next to you. And that's a great analogy because when the pressure drops, if you're too busy trying to help someone else, you pass out and then no one gets help.
Let me flat out ask you, Tim, if somebody is undocumented in this country, I'm not even talking about a violent criminal, somebody who's in this country, undocumented immigrant, they're having a heart attack. Do you believe that if they're dropped off at an ER, that those doctors should not be asking them for their paperwork, that they should try to save their life first?
First and foremost, doctors should just render aid to anybody who's ailing. It's like
I agree, but there's some people that don't agree with you.
But it's not about an illegal immigrant. If like Tate had a heart attack, God forbid, at such a young age.
A lot of Arby's, so I mean.
I know. Okay, doctors.
So you eat like Trump, then? That's what you're saying.
Oh yeah,
meat doesn't give you heart attacks anymore. It's not that nice.
I believe in life force. I think the Big Mac does.
The issue isn't illegal immigrants. The issue is literally anybody suffering. If a doctor said, "Well, hold on there, gosh darn minute, let me see some paperwork," that means citizens are going to be denied emergency health care.
Well, here's the deal.
Like, you'll die before the doctor can treat you if they're worried about your paperwork.
I don't want to live in a country where somebody is dying and they ask for their paperwork first. Tim, I don't want to live in a country like that.
Because, like I said, it's not even a question of illegal immigrants. It's a question of literally anybody going to the hospital being stopped and before they're rendered aid. It's like, he's a citizen. He's good. No, we don't have time for that.
Exactly. I agree with you.
So, but the bigger question is...
People in the Trump administration do not agree with you.
Well, that's a bit of an extreme example, though, because in emergency circumstances, however, the argument of... should illegal immigrants generally get medical treatment from our facilities at the taxpayer expense?
In the emergency room, I say yes.
In the case of absolute emergencies, indeed. What if someone shows up to the emergency room and they're like, something's wrong with my hand, it hurts?
Well, that's a different circumstance. Obviously, I'm not talking about, if somebody...
You said in the emergency room.
Life-saving care. That's not life-saving care.
So this is the issue. Most of the people in the emergency room are not getting life-saving care.
In
the event someone's having a heart attack or bleeding out, they were shot, whatever, no one's going to stop, and no one should. They should just treat the person. But you go to the emergency room, what do you see? People are all sitting in chairs waiting because So I went to the emergency room in August because I had my throat swole up so bad I thought I was gonna choke out and die. Went there, and I was like, my throat's killing me, and they're like, have a seat.
Tim, we live in one of the richest countries in the world.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but. Yeah. They demanded my papers when I went to the emergency room. In fact, I watched them demand everyone's papers. Yeah. Hold on. I just went to the emergency room, and when I walked in, every single person who walked up to the counter and said, here's my problem, they said, papers, please. They said, I need your ID. Do you have insurance? And everybody provided their identification.
And even if it's normal. An emergency, can't you check the ID or paperwork on the back end? after the operation.
Like that you bring them in to
After
do the
the-
life-saving care.
Here's what I don't understand, Tim, about your argument. You don't want these ERs to be crowded. In the big and beautiful bill, which I
I'd say
would,
that.
well, it sounded to me like, you want Americans to get care. You don't want people to have to wait. You don't want people in there that maybe have a hand
anything.
pain. Well, okay. Well, maybe I'm misinterpreting
So I
what you said.
one of the arguments is that emergency room care, medical care in general, shouldn't be at the cost of
Well,
taxpayer.
let's kill that argument right now. Look at the big and beautiful bill. 15 to 20 million people are going to lose their Medicaid coverage. When people lose their Medicaid coverage, they get sick. When people get sick, they go to the ER. When people go to the ER, those rooms get full. I don't understand.
Who are these
it.
people?
I'm talking about Americans right now that are going to lose their Medicaid coverage.
Like the
Those are-
demographic is older.
They're older rich people. One of the ways they saved money on the Medicare fraud was they looked through and looked how many millionaires were collecting benefits. And, and how much fraud. There was a ton of fraud and a ton of millionaires collecting benefits.
And the Democrats
It was
want to
an
give illegal
easy-
immigrants health care.
It was an easy part of it
That's
to
not
cut.
necessarily true, but I would
But
say
it's necessarily true because Democrats changed the definition of what an illegal immigrant is, and now the ACA benefits will be extended to anybody who says the word asylum.
Well, 30% of people that are working right now are not offered medical benefits. Okay, those are not lazy people, as many in the Trump administration would say.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Well, it has to do with medical coverage and the fact that the guy who you support, Donald Trump, is in this big and beautiful bill. 20 million people are going to lose their medical coverage. Those are not undocumented immigrants, and those are not all millionaires either. Many of those
so
people
they are
people
giving
that
illegal
work.
immigrants health care.
No, well,
They're trying to.
Okay, they're trying to doesn't mean they are.
Democrats
That's
are trying to, yes.
subjective. But okay, but 30% of the workforce, people that are working in this country, American citizens, are not offered health care benefits. 49% of them can't afford it. And people in the Trump administration and people on the right want to make the argument these are just lazy people that are on the couch that don't want to work. It's not true.
That's a straw
Oh,
man.
I don't think it's a straw man at all. It's
I talked to the guys
I mean, you
in the
can't- you can't
HHS
argue-
who
you
made
can't-
this policy. I talked to the guys in the HHS who identified the people who were either fraudulent benefits or very rich people. Like there was a huge, obviously a ton of people are collecting benefits who shouldn't be or don't necessarily need them. And 15 to 20 million is I mean, you could probably pull more than that without affecting people who really need it.
The point about people who don't get benefits or can't afford it, it's like there's no reality where you go up to a Democrat or a Republican and say, do you want to take a working class Americans or a poor person's health care? No one's going to say yes.
Okay,
That's
well,
just, like not of any.
let me
political-
ask you a
maybe
question.
libertarian.
We can talk about how to make healthcare.
so out of those 15 to 20
cheaper.
million people that are going to be losing their Medicaid coverage if the big and beautiful bill,
Was it based on what he said that they were ripping off the system?
there's always going to be a small percentage. I hate this argument. There's always going to be a small percentage of people that are going to take advantage of the system. We could be talking about welfare. We could be talking about unemployment benefits. But many of these government benefits or maternity leave, Republicans hate it. They want to get rid of it. They want to abolish it. And I'm sorry, I disagree with that. There's always going to be a small percentage of people that are going to take advantage of the system. That doesn't mean the majority of the people should have to suffer for it. That's exactly, Tim.
Who's the majority that are suffering?
People that are living paycheck to paycheck that are working. The 30% of the people that are working right now that are not offered health care benefits.
That's
The
not a
49.
majority.
That small percent you can still
It's
target.
not a majority,
and get
but
rid
it's
of
still
the
30. It's a
fraud.
lot of people.
Hold on. You said a majority of people suffering, then cited a minority. It seems like
It's a lot of people, Tim.
no one said it wasn't.
Yeah.
The point is you're saying things that are consistently just not. It's a non sequitur over and over and over again. It's like Donald Trump sending these troops and now the sky is cloudy, and I'm like, okay, those things aren't related to each
We're
other.
talking about the emergency. I'll tell you why they are. We're talking about the emergency room, people that need care. I'm telling you that millions and millions of Americans are going to be losing their health care coverage. What is
Specifically, how? Let's break it down.
specifically how? I just told you.
What you didn't?
30% of people that are working are not offered health care.
That is not the same thing. Again, non sequitur, bro. Stop. Okay. 30% of people not being offered by their job health care is not the same as Trump passing a bill will take health care away from people.
So who is it? Who is he taking away Medicaid from?
I'm asking you that.
I'm answering it.
Who?
We start off with 49% of the people that are working, that are offered health care, that can't afford it. Those are people that are struggling. You can look up those stats if you don't
Okay,
believe
let's try this again. You're saying currently, right now, 30% of people are not offered health care.
that work. Yes.
That sucks.
It's terrible.
Okay, now Trump's trying to pass a bill.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that bill will take health care away from people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so these are two separate things.
No, the 30% of people are on Medicaid right now. Many of those people are on Medicaid.
Is that a status quo thing? Like,
Well, so I'm
How are they not related? I don't
So
understand.
that's what I'm asking you. who are the people in this bill that are going to lose their health care?
It's a wide range of people. The reason why I brought up the 30% is those are some of the people that are going to be losing their
So two
Medicaid.
different things.
Okay, but you're asking me who's going to be losing their health care coverage. Yes, there's going to be a percentage of people that are lazy. Yes, there's going to be a small
I didn't say any of that.
I'm saying that. There's going to be a small percentage of people that maybe are taking advantage of the system. There's also going to be a lot of Americans in this country that are working 2 or 3 jobs that can't afford their health care.
So let's slow down. Okay.
I would say it's not as small of a percent as you think, and 15 to 20 million people easily fits in that range of
fraudulent benefits.
And
So what is the
rich
bill
people.
doing that will take away Medicare or Medicaid from these people?
They are cutting medical benefits and Medicaid from people that they believe do not deserve it. However, many of the people that are working are going to be losing their Medicaid coverage. You could look up the bill and you could look up the literature in the bill, and it specifically doesn't say, well, if you're working, we're not going to take your medical coverage away. They can say that on Fox News.
Is that what it is? You have to be working in order to receive benefits or something?
I think if they were taking away all this medical spending, then I would hear libertarians being happy about it, but they're just complaining. So
yeah, like Massey, for instance, said that the Republican version of the bill is basically advancing the Biden era spending. It's going to stay basically where it is, and Democrats are asking for more.
Well,
maybe this is wrong.
My understanding is that Democrats want it to be what it was before the big and beautiful bill came into play. That's my understanding. I don't believe this is a Chuck Schumer government shutdown. I do not believe that.
My understanding, so like the core of this debate over the government shutdown and the spending bill is that Democrats want to extend the ACA benefits to refugees, asylum seekers, and DACA recipients.
That's part of it, sure.
Republicans said absolutely not, because those are illegal immigrants.
Well, when you talk about asylum seekers, I think that's some gray area. But what Democrats want to put in place or to keep in place before the big and beautiful bill is being implemented. That's my basic understanding.
It's like Big Beautiful Bill number 2, because they did have the other one. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, look, I don't agree with the right blaming Chuck Schumer, calling it the Schumer shutdown. I understand the votes that they need. I understand how many Democrat votes they need. I get that. But the last government shutdown we had, last I remember, is back in 2019. We didn't have one under the Joe Biden administration. I could also tell you that this is not, they're putting it all on Chuck Schumer, the right, MAGA. They're putting it all on Chuck Schumer. This is all his fault.
He's the leader.
Yeah, I understand that, but who's in charge of the House? Who's in charge of the Senate right now?
Should they vote to get rid of the filibuster? I think so. I think just crush the filibuster and then Democrats have no argument. I actually agree with Democrats on this one. They're blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, and the Republicans are countering saying, well, it's because we need at least 60 votes for cloture. And I'm just like, or you get rid of the filibuster, and then you make sure Democrats never win another election. Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.